She give a thumbs up?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the October 13th, 2021 meeting of Centralina Regional Council Board of Delegates. I'd like to please welcome first Nina Barrett, Centralina's newest government affairs and member engagement coordinator. She comes to us from NCDOT, has a wealth of experience working at different levels of government. One of her many roles at Centralina is serving as member liaison for municipalities in Iredell, Cabarrus, and Rowan counties. We're excited to have Nina join the Centralina team. I'm especially excited being from Iredell County, number one. Number two, coming from NCDOT, and a wealth of knowledge and experience there, along with her other things that she's involved with. Very excited to have Nina with us. Now I'd like to recognize Mecklenburg County Commissioner Lee Altman to say a few words. Commissioner Altman is the incoming chair for the Metropolitan Transit Commission, the policy board for the Charlotte Area Transit Commission, and co-convener of the Connect Beyond Regional Mobility Initiative. We've reached a milestone relative to the development of this vision for our region's public transportation and mobility system, which is the consideration this month by both our board and the Metropolitan Transit Commission regarding endorsement of this first of its kind plan. Commissioner Altman, please share a few comments with us.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for having me tonight. I welcome the opportunity to represent the Metropolitan Transit Commission tonight as your board considers this important regional Connect Beyond plan. This plan has come together across 2 states, 12 counties, and over the course of 2 years, 2 of the most uncertain years in our lifetime, because of a shared vision to create a regional transportation network for the future. Our region is poised for tremendous growth and opportunity in the coming years. We must have the vision and commitment to prepare for those changes in a way that ensures a great quality of life, a cleaner environment, and access to opportunity for all. This plan will improve the quality of life for our residents and visitors and create a more sustainable transportation system for future generations. You don't have to have a car to live a great life. We should be able to provide residents with access to education, jobs, healthcare, and recreation, whether or not they own a car. And for those that do ride transit, whether they choose to or because they have to, they should be able to ride efficiently. Taking 2 hours to ride to work does not create opportunity and access. It creates an additional barrier. We can do better. Creating a more complete mobility vision will not only increase opportunity and access for our residents, it will increase our region's economic competitiveness, build stronger connections between rural and urban areas, and help create a cleaner and safer environment. This plan is the result of hard work that our community has put into Connect Beyond. Many of us here tonight have attended meetings and offered our input into the plan. Countless others have contributed technical expertise. Based on this input, the Connect Beyond plan contains hundreds of recommendations for transit improvements throughout our 12-county region, from action steps we can take today to goals for long-term system planning. This is not going to be an easy path forward. It's going to take hard work and perseverance and collaboration and the ability to overcome setbacks. But it is work that we need to do for the next generation and for the future of our region. The Connect Beyond recommendations you will hear tonight are more than just a sum of all your plans, goals, and visions. In Mecklenburg County, this plan will also strengthen the reach and success of the CATS 2030 Transit System Plan and Charlotte's Transformational Mobility Network. But we need to recognize that the success of any county is also dependent upon the success of our region. Our residents and visitors don't stay within county lines, and neither should our planning efforts. We are interconnected and need to work together, including speaking as one voice in Raleigh about our region's transportation needs. This collaboration starts now with our elected and community leaders coming together to move the Connect Beyond plan forward. It will take continued collaboration and coordination across all levels of government related agencies, and the public and private sectors to make that future a reality. Driving our region forward with the right transit plan is essential to meeting our mobility needs and creating a more equitable, sustainable, and accessible community. I look forward to receiving the Connect Beyond plan at our upcoming MTC meeting later this month. Like tonight, it will be an important step towards our shared Connect Beyond vision. Together, we must be bold and lay the necessary foundation for success and prosperity for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Altman. We appreciate your work, not only in Mecklenburg County, but the work with Metropolitan Transit Commission in the past and definitely in the future, as you are the incoming person there. So we really appreciate that. And thank you so much. To help us move through the agenda more efficiently, as you know, we've been virtual for quite some time. So I have to say this every time. I'm so sorry, but we have to go through this. To help us move through the agenda efficiently, please remain muted except for making a motion, a second, voting, or posing a question or comment. Be sure to state your name for the record when making a motion, a second, or when speaking. We've been monitoring the attendance as board members have joined Zoom. In the interest of time, we will not call the names of board members participating via computer, since your names are recorded when you logged into the meeting and are displayed in the participant list. Our clerk, Kelly Weston, will call the names of board members whose names are not shown on the participant list. Names will be called in alphabetical order by last name. I'll now ask our clerk to call the roll.
Karen Alexander, Peter Asciuto, Will Cawthon, Dolores Chambers.
Present.
Thank you. Kathy Davis, Rusty Eford, Mike Head,
That's Kelly.
Dolores High, Bob Hobus, Corinthia Lewis Lemon, Jamie Lean, Tony Long, Jay McCosh.
I'm here.
Thank you. Autumn Michael.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Pedro Mori. Christina Polish. Sandy Rayleigh. Thurman Ross. David Scholl. Jonathan Williams. Jarvis Woodburn.
This is Jonathan Williams. I'm present.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Chairman, we do have quorum.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Thank you, Kelly Weston. Appreciate that. Before we move any further, I've got just a few comments to make regarding the agenda. Because we did not have a quorum at our last meeting. Looking on the silence. I want to back up. Excuse me. Yeah, I want to back up. I was jumping ahead of myself. Please join me for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Now I'll move on to the agenda. A few comments we were going to make. Because we did not have a quorum at our last meeting, the consent agenda includes items held over from the August Board of Delegates meeting. This includes the bylaws amendment. It was intended as a general cleanup with non-substantive formatting changes for clarity, consistency, and conciseness. And I think back then you did get a copy of that. I think there's a copy in your packet this time. It also revises the existing bylaws language to reflect current Centralina practices related to financial and budgeting processes in the board and staff roles and responsibilities. A summary of those changes, as well as a full draft of the amended bylaws, are proposed or included in your packet. And I hope everyone had a chance to read that.
Motion
May I
to
have a
approve.
motion? Oh, thank you. Have a motion to approve and a second.
Second, Eggleston.
Thank you, Councilman Eggleston. We have a motion and a second. I would ask the clerk to call the roll. Is many are in favor of the motion? If their names are called, please answer yes. If you're opposed, please answer no. Kelly Wester, please call the roll.
Loris Chambers,
Yes.
Bobby Compton,
Yes.
Larkin Eggleston,
Yes.
Art Farmer,
Yes.
Bill Feather,
Yes.
Martha Sue Hall, Martha Sue Hall, George Harris, George Harris, Daryl Hennett, Gene Halp,
This is Martha Sue. I couldn't get my unmute to work. So I am in agreement.
thank you. Gene Halp, Andy Langford,
Yes.
Corinthia Lewis Lemon, Kay McCathan,
I'm here. I couldn't get my thing unmuted. Sorry.
thank you.
Kay McCall.
Yes.
Thank you. Ken McCool,
Yes.
Jay McCosh,
Yes.
Autumn Michael,
Yes.
Virginia Morgan,
Yes.
William Morgan,
Yes.
Lance Munger,
Yes.
Christine Poinsett, Christine Poinsett, Elaine Powell,
Yes.
Troy Selberg,
Yes.
Lynn Shu, Lynn Shu, Jennifer Stepp,
Yes.
Amelia Stenson Wesley,
Yes.
David Williams,
Yes.
Jonathan Williams,
Yes.
Richard Wise,
Yes.
thank you.
This is Christine Points that I couldn't get my microphone to work, but I say yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, that did pass.
Thank you. The motion passes. Thank you, Kelly. And again, I apologize for the way we have to do this by law. We have to do a roll call since we are virtual. So we'll move on to the next agenda item. Item 3, Centralina updates and annual report presentation. We're going to have our Executive Director, Geraldine Gardner, along with AG Linda Miller, and our workforce, David Hollers. So I'd like to recognize Geraldine to start the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Appreciate you all joining for our last Board of Delegates meeting of the calendar year. Kelly's going to project up and share her screen to show you the annual report, which I'm really excited to present to all of you this evening. As you know, as required by our bylaws, we produce an annual report that outlines Centralina's accomplishments over the previous fiscal year. We present this annual report at the October meeting, reporting out on fiscal year that ended June 30th of 2021. So Kelly's going to page through the document. You all received a copy of this. I just wanted to start off by saying it was Like all of our local governments here too at Centralina, our team did an amazing job working hard in difficult situations, tackling new challenges of delivering our services while also doing new and innovative things for that work. So in our annual report, we've picked a top 5 set of accomplishments that we're highlighting here, including our new brand and name that was launched in August of 2021. Our website is up 3,000% in terms of users. We've increased our newsletter signups and created a new member portal. You can keep going, Kelly. Our second highlight is that we really focused a lot of our attention last year on our members. Our member governments are the heart and soul of Centralina, and we did a lot of work last year to try to be there for our local government stakeholders through COVID by expanding our services, expanding our outreach, creating a member liaison program, and doing other things on our member portal. Our third highlight is serving through COVID. Every single department had to adapt to our new online and hybrid environments this past fiscal year. We took that challenge and actually turned it into an opportunity to expand our reach across the region. Just as an example, our Centralina Learns professional development series, by moving it to a virtual format, we were actually able to reach more local government professionals and include them in that programming. And many of our staff continue to work tirelessly throughout the pandemic. We were doing code enforcement inspections even during the shutdown, and collaborating with our counties on our CDBG implementation. Our fourth top 5 item that we wanted to highlight was how we had to transform our aging services. And you're going to hear from a moment from Linda Miller, our aging AAA director. I can't say enough about the great work of our aging team. You can see some statistics here. They really leaned into the hybrid and the online platform, again, using that to reach more people and to steward the aging network through a very challenging time of serving our older adults through the pandemic. And then lastly, our fifth highlight is you'll hear more about tonight, and Commissioner Altman did a great job of teeing this up for us, is our Connect Beyond regional mobility initiative. And we're really just delighted in the level of engagement and partnership across the region in creating this vision, and are very looking forward to tonight's process. In conclusion, I just wanted to highlight a few things that we continue to support and work at the regional level as one of our 3 levels of impact. In addition to Connect Beyond, we had 2 projects that were nationally recognized by the National Association of Development Organizations. And we also had our own awards, the Region of Excellence Awards this year, that highlighted innovation across the region. As you know, we serve our communities by providing technical assistance and also support on a range of topics throughout our capacity. We've worked across the region. On the next slide, Kelly will show a map that shows all the different communities that we've worked in throughout the last fiscal year. We've done board trainings, we've facilitated retreats, we've led pay and classification studies, we have provided 160D and land use planning services. So we're working across the region at multiple levels, and we are here to support our local communities and expand their capacity. And then lastly, our pillar of supporting individuals and helping to expand their quality of life and opportunity. Our aging and our workforce team did not slow down at all last year. They took their services online and in some cases expanded their reach. And you'll hear more from David and Linda tonight about what they're working on this fiscal year. So I just wanted to highlight the great work of our team, and that's captured in these pages. And with that, Kelly, if you could go back to the PowerPoint. Just wanted to highlight a few things that we're doing in our current work plan. We've just concluded the first quarter of this fiscal year. The vast majority of all of our work plan items are underway with 71%. We've actually completed quite a few things as well so far this year. A few highlights: we had a regional resilience summit that our CED team led in September that worked with emergency managers across all 9 counties. And we're continuing to support our communities in how they are considering their ARPA local government relief funds and developing spending plans, as well as supporting several communities with redistricting. So lots of activity happening this year. And I'm really proud of the team for all their hard work as we've launched this fiscal year. So for each of our Board of Delegate meetings, we've been highlighting several of our departments to increase your fluency of the work that we do at Centralina. The October board meeting features our aging and our workforce teams and how we support individuals. So with that, I want to turn it over to Linda Miller, our Area Agency on Aging Director, to talk to you about some of her work in vaccine and COVID initiatives. Linda?
Thanks, Geraldine. Good evening, everybody. I've been having a little bit of trouble with sound. Is that okay?
Yep, you sound
okay,
good.
Thank you. All right, next slide, Kelly. I'm really excited to be here tonight just to give you a brief update about 3 new vaccine grants that the aging department got. Not only are we excited about the work, the funding sources, some of which we don't get to work with very often. CDC, we've had 1 grant here and there, but then HRSA is a new grant funder through our national AAA association, but also because we're working with the planning department, both those that we've known for a long time, Michelle and Jason, who are terrific, but also with 2 new planning staff that we're really excited to work with them. So this is really a cross-departmental effort. So 3 new vaccine outreach funding grants that we've received, 1 through CDC. These all started October 1st. Various sources, the HRSA grant, which is through our national AAA association, will have to wrap up by March. And the North Carolina Division of Health and Human Services is focusing on those who are at home, isolated older and disabled adults, and that'll run a full year, year and a half. So we're really excited. I'm going to let Reagan show you a few, some of what they've been working on in a minute. Next slide. So the first grant is through the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, and it will have us working with disseminating credible information about the COVID-19 as well as the vaccine. That'll be through multiple media sources and different ways, visual flyers, all sorts of different things, billboards that we're looking at in ads. Then it'll help us identify people who may need help getting a vaccine. As you can see on the slide, it could be that they really don't know how to get online to book an appointment, how to get transportation, how can we help them, how to get good information. So we can help them with that. We're really having the planning department help us identify target areas where there might be low vaccine rates or high risk populations that really we want to hone right in on those populations. It'll help us also to provide technical assistance to our health departments and other organizations that need credible and good information. So we're real excited about this. This is the longest running grant. It'll be about 1.5 years. Next slide. All right, and then this grant is through the Division of Health and Human Services, and this focuses on those older and disabled adults who are at home, who don't feel comfortable for any reason, that they can self-identify that they cannot go out and get a vaccine, and we can find someone. The state of North Carolina has set up a toll-free hotline in which we can identify people that can go out into homes and give individuals the vaccine. So we're not only working on that, but we're raising awareness of that hotline and also providing resources from identifying and making sure that they know how to get help. We'll be doing billboards and we'll be doing some outreach. And as you all know, we really believe that right now it's almost the perfect timing is that we're also starting to get into people who really feel like they're going to need boosters. So we really feel that it'll be not only people who still haven't been vaccinated, but those who need boosters. And the last grant, Kelly, last slide. We don't have all the specifics on this yet. It's supposed to start the 1st, but this is with HRSA, which stands for the Health Regulation Services Administration. It is going to be the integration of vaccine into our Medicare education and outreach and counseling. Some of you may know that the Medicare enrollment and re-enrollment period starts, and this one ties specifically into helping people that need information about Medicare and signing up or changing plans, also have good information about the vaccine and about the boosters. So, and it wants also to target booked populations. Next slide. So we're looking at 60 and up, disabled, older adults, minorities and non-English speaking, people with comorbidities, which is multiple chronic conditions, low income, low literacy, and rural areas. So Reagan Murphy's with us tonight from the planning department, and she's going to show you just a teaser of some of the really terrific work that they've been doing. Reagan?
Hey, thank you so much, Linda. I'm Reagan. I am one of the newer regional planners with the Centralina Regional Planning Department, and I and the rest of the planning team are really excited to be collaborating with Aging on this project. So Kelly, if you'll go to the next slide. Thank you. So as Linda mentioned, we're working with Aging to really identify focus areas or target areas for the outreach efforts that are going to be part of this vaccination project. So we're bringing a lot of our experience with data analysis, and then later on in the process, we'll also be helping out with some community engagement to really engage those populations that Linda mentioned on the previous slide. And tonight, I'm really excited to be showing you some of the mapping work that we're doing so far to help identify those specific target areas throughout our region that might need a little more help and a little more information through this project. So Kelly, if you can go to the next slide, please. So we're going to give you a taste of just a couple of the variables, a couple of the items that we're looking at and how they relate to vaccination rates. So the first comparison I'll talk about is between vaccination rates and vehicle access. So for each census tract in the Centralina region, we've mapped the relationship between the vaccination rate and the proportion of households that don't own a vehicle. And so in general, what you're seeing here is that tracts that are more purple have less vehicle access and also lower vaccination rates in the region. And the tracts that are shown in more of that teal blue color have higher vehicle access and also have higher vaccination rates. And so I want to specifically draw your attention to those census tracts that you see that are in the light and the dark purple. As I mentioned, these are the tracts that are experiencing lower vaccination rates and they have that lower household vehicle access. And that relationship is incredibly important to this project because especially for folks who live in communities that might not have a pharmacy or a vaccination clinic, having access to a car can be that lifeline and that deciding factor in whether or not folks are able to access vaccines. And especially in instances where these purple census tracts also have more limited access to public transit services, individuals and families without cars have fewer ways to get to vaccines. And Kelly, if you'll go to the next slide. We'll show you one more connection between vaccination rates and another infrastructural component tonight, and that's access to internet in the region. So this map compares each census tract's vaccination rate to the rate of households that don't have at-home internet access. So most of the region's census tracts here are either a shade of teal, which again indicates that higher rate of internet access and higher vaccination rates, or a shade of pink. And that indicates a really strong connection between these two data points that we're measuring, vaccination rates and internet access. And this relationship makes a lot of sense because Many vaccination clinics and pharmacies are requiring vaccination appointments to be made online. And we've also noticed in our research that a lot of the health departments and healthcare providers in the region are primarily sharing out new vaccination information online through their websites and social media. And while these online tools can be incredibly effective and help improve access for many, a lot of the individuals without internet access face a range of obstacles that are exacerbated in trying to schedule vaccination appointments and also in getting up-to-date information about vaccines. And so with that, we've given you a small taste of planning's research to date. And this is kind of how we're approaching identifying some of those target areas where we'll really focus our efforts as we proceed with the project. And we're looking forward in the next several weeks to finalizing those target areas and starting some of that more focused outreach to folks in the region. Thank you.
Thanks, Regan. And we hope that we'll be back periodically over the next year and a half with a couple of other presentations in which we'll update you on progress and some of the work that both planning and aging have done. So thanks, Geraldine.
Thanks to you both. David?
Well, thank you, Geraldine, and good evening to the board. Welcome, and thank you for participating and for your support. One thing I wanted to talk about with our Centralina Workforce Development Board, we've had an interesting year to say the least, and we've also tried to work, as Geraldine mentioned, expand our services to assist those through the pandemic. A lot of that's been done virtually. We are been very fortunate since the beginning of this year. There are 8 NC Works Career Centers in our 7 counties are open to serve the public and employers, unlike some areas around the state. So we have been dealing with individuals in person and virtually. We have a lot of great services, workshops, events that happen. But a lot of people said, you know, we don't always know where they're happening. How do we connect with them? So earlier this year, we decided to put together and work with our partners with NC Works Centralina, our contractor for services, to develop a Centralina Workforce Development Board app. And that was successfully launched in May of this year. You'll see the information here. So my call to action for you tonight is to scan this QR code using your camera on your phone and download the NC Centralina app. If you don't want to do that now, you can always go to the Google Play or App Store on the iPhone and type in NC Centralina, and it will come up and you can download it free of charge. There's no tracking, no paywall, none of the things that you get in some apps. One of the things that's really cool about this is that you can quickly access a lot of our services. Everyone has an iPhone, some type of smartphone device that they can use to look at services. So we wanted to give something that brought our customers, both career seekers and employers, a little quicker access to our services. And through this, it's a great way. So if you want to see, if you're a county commissioner or city council person and somebody says, are there any hiring events going on in our county? Well, you can just click hiring events, click your county. Let's go with Stanley County. And you can quickly see there's a hiring event tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the NC Works Career Center there in Albemarle. It has information. It's the Fred Smith Company hiring. We've got similar events happening all over the region. You can connect to our virtual career marketplace, to virtual workshops, in-person workshops, learn about tuition waive training, special initiatives, those services we have for justice involved individuals. And also a care connection where we're looking at connecting to more of our community partners to help assist our career seekers who are dealing with other crises in their lives. So a lot of this service is out there. It's available. It's just our way of putting it into a quick and easy to use app for individuals to access and to connect to our services. We've seen great number of individuals who've said that it's very easy to use. They had that from elected officials to our partners with the community college system, say they can now find that information very readily, very quickly, and don't have to worry about emailing somebody a flyer or doing other connections. So that's our way of making sure that our services are connecting with our public. We're also getting feedback from our career seekers and employers of ways to improve that app. We'd love to hear from you on that. We maintain it on a regular basis. Things are updated, taken down regularly. So information is included on there so that you can access the services. And also it's a direct link to our centralinaworks.com website. So you can find out on what upcoming board meetings are, other initiatives going on for our Workforce Development Board, and connecting with our NC Works Career Center. And it's another example of the innovative and creative strategies that we've done through the Centralina Workforce Development Board to serve our customers and to provide better services quicker, faster, and meet them where they are. Again, not everyone's going to come to a career center. Not everybody's going to go to a website. Not everybody's going to use our social media outlets, which if you don't already, go follow Centralina Workforce Development Board on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also via LinkedIn and YouTube. We would appreciate if you do that. So we had to meet people where they are and provide the information quickly and get them to use the services. Again, our role right now is to find as many people and get them back in the workforce as possible. We're dealing with huge labor shortages throughout all sectors in our economy, and we want as many people back out there looking for work and available for work as possible. And if they don't feel they have the training, the skills necessary, they can always go to the app, connect with our NC Works Career Center, find out about information, connect with available training and resources, and so they can be better prepared to go to work. It also connects our next gen, which is our services to youth 16 to 24, and developing the next generation of workers for our region, and some initiatives going on in our region. One of those is our youth initiative grant that was approved recently, and we'll be setting up youth opportunity sites throughout the region. First one is going to be down in Morven and Anson County. We're looking then to expand into Rowan County and East Spencer and Lincoln County. So great opportunity to connect in our rural and underserved communities and provide the connection they need to the services to get those individuals ready and available to be in the workforce. Again, our goal right now is to put as many people back to work as possible and satisfy the employers who are clamoring for more qualified individuals. So again, our app is one way to do that. And I hope that you will, again, scan it, download it, add it to your phone, add it to your apps, use it regularly. And if you have any questions or concerns or any reasons that we can improve that, please let me know. We'll be glad to take that into consideration. And thank you for your support.
Thank you so much, David. So as you can tell, not only did we have a great last fiscal year, but we're having a great this fiscal year so far. Lots of innovation, lots of hard work. And we'll be happy to answer any questions from the board at this time.
Any questions?
This is
Yes.
Martha Sue. It's not really well, it is a question. I know that this may not be fair because there may not be an easy, non-political answer. But why, in your opinion, are we having so many places that cannot find employees right now? I mean, what's the real reason? And that may not be a fair question to you, but I'm telling you, you can't even stop now at a convenience store because they're closed. I know that's probably unfair.
Well, Martha, so I hadn't heard that question before. Just kidding. I hear it. If I could again get $1 for every time I've heard it, I'd be rich by now. But yeah, it's a combination of things. It's a desire of people to go to work. It was at one time we thought part of it unemployment and benefits being extended. That's part of it. One thing was pointed out in a meeting I was at earlier today during the pandemic. During a normal year, baby boomers retired about the rate of 1.5 million. Last year in 2020, it was over 3 million. So you've doubled the number of older workers who have retired and not labor force. You have a lack of participation with women due to childcare and other issues. That's a big part of it. Employers are doing their part. They're adding additional benefits. They're upping their wages. They're making themselves more attractive, but each one of them is having to compete. And then just the general idea that that there are other jobs out there other than in hospitality, which has taken a big hit over recently. A lot of people are looking for flexibility in their work. Some people prefer to work at home. Some people are looking at gig work. So you've got just a myriad of different factors that have all come together to cause this labor shortage, which again is impacting our supply chain, which is again impacting inflation. So yeah, that's when I said we've got to get as many people back to work as possible. And we're not trying to be crude there. We're trying to turn over every stone we can to find anybody to go to work. And we've been working with a variety of different populations. Again, the former offender, of vocational rehabilitation, any other type of opportunities to get people back into the workforce and get the skills and go to work. And again, employers are begging for people. They're willing to train people. They're willing to pay people. It's just, we've got to get people to realize that we've got work to be done in all our communities, and with the heavy influence of manufacturing in our region, we definitely need people to work for our manufacturing facilities, which you cannot do remotely.
Thank you, David. I was at the Association of Regional Council of Governments meeting last Friday, and someone asked that very question that Martha Sue asked, and someone from the Triangle J Council of Government stated in their area, childcare was one of their biggest issues. But I hear what David's saying, and so I think it varies from municipality to municipality, county to county. So it's various things across our state, across our country that are weighing into this. So there's a lot of factors involved in that. So Martha said there's not really a clear, direct answer because it's a variable amount of things here that we're dealing with. That's a great question. Any further questions for our Executive Director or Linda Miller or David Hollers? That was great information. In fact, what got me with the numbers, if anybody's had a chance to look at the annual report, there's some staggering numbers in there. The website users, as Geraldine mentions, up 3,000%. Linda and her staff in aging, 6,800 food boxes served. I mean, wow. In workforce for David Hollers, 2,145 employers served, plus 58,000 job referrals. I mean, there's tremendous numbers in this annual report that the Centralina staff is doing. And so even through the pandemic, the numbers are there, and these folks here are doing their job. Reagan Murphy's part on the maps for ID target area map, vaccination rates, and the mobility. I thought that was fascinating. In fact, if anyone would like to see those maps closer, can they contact Centralina, contact here? Maybe perhaps Kelly could send those out, email that out to everyone. Because I think that's some great information for us to look at our own little areas and see how we're doing, what we can do locally in our own little areas to help improve that. Great presentation. This is wonderful. Any further comments or questions for our staff regarding this item 3?
Just, Mr. Chairman, to make sure everyone downloads the app. That would help them greatly.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I got that written down too.
Sorry.
The app is still on the screen. Please download that, everyone.
Can't help getting in that shameless plug. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay, everybody scan the app. We were to receive this as information, so I hope everybody got this. Please look at your annual report, look at the numbers. Any questions, please call Centralina, please call the office. We'll now move to item 4, the Connect Beyond Plan endorsement. We've been talking about this for a long time, and you see Commissioner Outman early in our, as soon as we opened the board meeting with the Metropolitan Transit Commission, has some comments to make regarding that. So now let's listen from Michelle Nance and Jason Wager.
Thank you, Commissioner Compton, and good evening, members of the board. Thank you, Commissioner Altman and Jason Lawrence for being here this evening. They're representing the MTC and CATS, so we're excited to have them here. I'm really excited this evening to present the culmination of 18 months of work built on the strong leadership, great relationships, and technical expertise that we're so fortunate to have in this region. Thank you for your continued support of Centralina and for this regional effort. As it's been said before this evening, but this really represents a milestone. It's a bold vision, one that stretches us beyond where we are today, but one that we can achieve together. It's got a long-term vision, but short-term strategies. It's focused on local needs, prioritizes efficient use of resources, and is centered on the desire to be competitive, but also to make sure that we have a strong quality of life. This is really a moment to be celebrated. We've been before you at various stages in the plan. In fact, this is the 5th presentation to this board or the executive board since the project started. So tonight, we're actually going to let the region do the talking for us. We have a project video that we would like to show that really provides perspectives from across the region, from communities small and large. And then after the video, we'll briefly touch on the endorsement process, and Jason Wager, the Connect Beyond project manager, will outline Centralina's anticipated role in plan implementation. So with that, let's roll the video.
By the year 2045, our 12 county region's population is projected to increase by about 1.4 million people. That's an increase of over 50%. With our region's primary highways and roads already nearing medium to maximum capacity, this rapid growth calls for an alternative means of travel aside from personal vehicles. But currently, mobility options are limited, and many of them are not regionally coordinated. Connect Beyond is a bold regional mobility plan to address these needs by enhancing connectivity across municipal, county, and state lines throughout our 12-county region.
The importance of partnerships in achieving our regional vision is that it allows us to understand the nuances throughout the region. We have small communities with so much vibrancy. Clearly, we have Charlotte as the economic center. And connecting all of those is what really will make us be a strong region and competitive in this global economy. And it's important that we understand those differences as we collaborate toward this common vision.
With the end goal of developing a total mobility network, we've developed 5 mobility moves, which are essentially the building blocks that should be used to achieve this goal. They are: create mobility-friendly places, expand mobility choices, strengthen rural to urban connections, build a better bus network, and lastly, invest in strategic mobility corridors.
Mobile-friendly places are really vibrant places with lots of mobility options available to our residents and visitors. Pleasant and convenient places to walk, bike, or take public transportation, like wide sidewalks, bike lanes, and crosswalks that make it easy to access public transportation.
Mobility for me is very important because I use my wheelchair. In my neighborhood, it's very difficult for me to come across the sidewalks because the cars, they just park right through the sidewalks. And I have to go in the street, which is very dangerous for me.
We've developed strategies to support vibrant, pedestrian-friendly communities that have convenient access to public transit services. Example recommendations include: adopt transit supportive development policies that are unique to each community, involve transit in land use development processes, and concentrate growth along high-capacity transit corridors.
All aspects of our region are important. Some might suggest that light rail is the most important, or bus rapid transit, or even sidewalks and bike paths. All of that is important, and so we must understand the needs of all parts of our region and integrate those needs into one plan.
Connect Beyond can help support mobility in our cities and encourage residents and visitors to use alternative mobility options.
Mobility technology is changing rapidly. Our plans and approach should be nimble and future-ready. Under this move, the study recommends a regional commuter choice program, implementation of a regional network of mobility hubs where all transportation modes can connect with each other. And we should train the workforce of tomorrow for electrification efforts and on-demand services.
Using public transportation regionally in our area is a big challenge at the moment, as it is in many parts of the U.S. We have 17 different systems over 12 counties. However, for folks, it's very challenging to move in between those.
People rarely stay in one place, and they go to different municipalities for different reasons. You may live here in Statesville and you work in Charlotte. You may go to the doctor in Huntersville. You may want to dine in Davidson. And each municipality has differing fare structures. They have different routes. They have different times of operation.
For us, transit helps people that have been traditionally defined by barriers to economic development or barriers to good, healthy food.
There's growth that's being spurred on by the growth in Charlotte that's impacting us. So we're always be interconnected just because of our general location to each other. So it's imperative that we work together and continue to build a system that will allow us to grow into the future.
We've developed strategies to improve mobility and transportation choices for those who choose to live and work in rural communities. These include improve coordination and procurement with paratransit and human service providers, develop scheduling and funding models to enhance cross-county medical trips.
And one of the critical things as we look at developing this sort of web of services across the region for people to be able to maneuver is to not just have those vehicles meet, but actually have a shared location where vehicles from different systems can all come to a location and people can transfer between the services that they need to seamlessly in an area where they can get information, have resources, where the vehicles can collect and then be able to move back out and continue their journey onward from that point.
I'm happy with the routes that I have available to me, but I'm on the outskirts of Charlotte, so the farther away from downtown, the thinner the routes are.
The backbone of any successful regional transit system is a well-coordinated, frequent, and reliable bus network. To move residents here today and those that are coming, the team recommends a transit and mobility education campaign, joint procurement to increase our buying power, and a regional fare structure.
When we plan regionally, we actually have more power. And I think that as we look at this from that point of view, we need to also be planning and coordinating all of those resources, and particularly now when we have the ARPA funds that are coming down to communities. We also have the infrastructure money that will be coming. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for all of us to plan together.
There are so many projects out there, and if we do not work together collectively to hit the hot spots of the things that we need in this region, we'll never get anything done.
Connect Beyond identifies candidate corridors throughout our region where high-capacity transit lines could possibly be extended or newly constructed, and where focused transit investments should occur. Each county is recommended to conduct studies determining the appropriate rapid transit mode, as well as implement near-term improved transit service to build ridership. Strategic mobility corridors have been identified as key corridors connecting communities that need improved service. Enhanced mobility goes far beyond helping people get around. It also connects people to jobs, enhances upward mobility, and increases our region's economic competitiveness. The plan helps ensure no one is left behind and all jurisdictions can proceed forward on their own timeline.
Thank you, and apologies for some of the fuzziness on the video. Sometimes technology doesn't go at 100%, but hopefully you got the gist. And a huge thank you to the members of this board that participated on the video. We so appreciate the time that you took to do it and your sentiments on the video. So since we actually released the draft plan in July, we've actually presented to over 30 stakeholder groups to get feedback, traveling both virtually and sometimes in person across 12 counties. A few highlights from the over 300 comments include, you've heard it before, coordinating regionally to increase transportation revenues, making sure that we're planning for the expected growth, clearly articulating the benefits of transit through education, and increasing access to transit in rural areas. So this feedback actually helped us determine which recommendations needed to move to that immediate 0 to 3 year time frame. So I'd like to turn it over to Jason Wager to talk about where we go from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And I want to say additionally a thank you to our consulting team at HDR, our staff here on the Centralina team, all our colleagues around the region, including CATS, and thank you to Jason Lawrence for joining us as well today. I want to mention, after we shared a similar video at our September 29th Joint Advisory Committee meeting, we had an individual from the region that had joined via a Facebook Live feed write a very detailed and well put description of his situation, which had its challenges, and he really appreciated how well this work seemed to really be talking to him and addressing some of the needs that he was facing and all kinds of things that we were hearing throughout the process. So I thought that was really neat to kind of see this come full circle and have an impact locally. And I think that's the important point here as well. We talk about things we can do regionally and cross-jurisdictionally. So those would include things that maybe regional councils and transportation planning organizations
something printing down there and I need to see.
Would be well positioned to lead. We also know that it will take all kinds of stakeholders around those tables. And then certainly at the local level in the communities, transit systems and local governments are well positioned to take the lead. Won't go necessarily through all of the 5 mobility moves again. You just heard about those. But ultimately, if we do these well, I think where the real impact is with the individual. And that's ultimately what we're all, I think, shooting for. Okay. So our work plan, what are we looking at as we transition really from the plan development and now really what we would probably term the endorsement phase, and I'll share a quick calendar in a second. And as we move into implementation, lots of things are being looked at, and we're excited about some very near-term opportunities. You see the transit education item there through Centralina Learn. So having some events already planned and being pulled together later in this fiscal year around mobility hubs and the mobility corridors, very exciting. Additionally, just simply going after those new revenues to help implement anything from a Connect Beyond implementation manager, so someone charged with it's their job to make the cross-jurisdictional connections, pull the different working groups together, make sure that all that coordination that's necessary and called for in the over 130 recommendations is carried out. And then opportunities around, say, transportation demand management, helping educate around the opportunities for commuters and moving around the region, and other grants as well. And of course, with the transit agencies themselves, there may be any number of opportunities around route restoration or maybe shared software opportunities and other discussions. So those will be some high level activities going on here in the near term. And I think, as we look ahead in the very near term, where you all can certainly help us, of course, is tonight. We hope to get your endorsement and adoption of the plan. At the same time, we will take this, as you heard from Commissioner Altman at the top of the meeting, this will go to our colleagues, our partners in this project, the Metropolitan Transit Commission, CATS's policy board, later in October for their endorsement. And then really, that's when we get rolling. We take this out to the transportation planning organizations. This is where they'll have the opportunity in their own way, through their normal channels and ways of going about integrating plans into their working documents through the November, December timeframe. So that's where we start to see the broader regional vision come home and have a place to be implemented locally and in your region. So please, note who your representative is with your MPO. Be in touch with them. Let them know if they've got questions, that we're here and available to give them any updates. And simply, let us know how we can help. And then, just for tonight, in September, before the executive board, there was a little discussion about, what does the board action and endorsement look like? And we knew that it was important to have that endorsement, but wanted to refine and be sure that we had this with the right tone and level of involvement. And what we heard was absolutely, we do not want to do this work and then just let this stop. So you saw in the video this whole idea about maintaining our momentum, and that was certainly reinforced during the September meeting. So with that, maybe I'll stop there and turn things over to the chairman. Unless there's any other questions, maybe move forward with this requested board action.
Thank you, Jason and Michelle. Any questions for Michelle Nance or Jason Wager pertaining to this important document? I just want to say one thing. There's some time sensitivity here. I want our board to know the Centralina Board of Delegates, us, you guys, and the Metropolitan Transit Commission are scheduled to take action this month. Of course, we are tonight. Metropolitan Transit Commission will be later this month. It's important to show the region how Centralina Regional Council support of the Connect Beyond plan. So we should take action tonight, and Metropolitan Transit Commission is scheduled to meet soon later this month for the same thing. Same question before we move on. We ask for a motion.
Motion to adopt Selberg.
Second.
Second.
Name, please.
McCool.
Kim McCool. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Thank you. Second, I will now ask our clerk, Kelly, to call the roll. Those in favor say yes. Those opposed answer no. Kelly Weston, please call the roll.
Aaron Alexander. Peter Asciuto.
I'm here, Karen Alexander. Sorry, I was muted.
Thank you. Peter Asciuto. Dolores Chambers.
Yes.
Bobby Compton. Larkin Eggleston.
Yes.
Bart Farmer.
Yes.
Bill Feather.
Yes.
Martha Sue Hall. George Harris.
Yes.
Daryl Hennett. Gene Halp. Andy Langford.
Yes.
Corinthia Lewis Lemon.
Yes.
Kay McCathan.
Yes.
Ken McCool.
Yes.
Jay McCosh.
Yes.
Autumn Michael. Virginia Morgan.
Yes.
William Morgan. Lance Munger.
It's needed.
Christine Poinsett.
Yes.
Elaine Powell.
I have a question before I vote because you couldn't hear me because of the interference. My question is, how rigid or is it rigid, the regional fare structure that is set up, or is that still to be formed? And the question would probably go to Jason Lawrence.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner Powell. So for right now, CATS has a regional fare that's a part of our regional express services that go outside the county. So we already have a regional fare structure for those services that we operate. As we look at the Connect Beyond effort, I think the regional conversation is how does that fare structure work between the different transit agencies? And if there's different fare amounts and the types of digital or paper media that they use, how does all that get worked together? And so that's where the regional fare conversation would happen. So there is no, like say, unified regional fare currently in place. And so upcoming efforts would look at all the different fares and how it interacts within the different systems. So nothing, there's like to answer your question, there's not a unified regional fare, just the fare that we enact on our expresses that go outside Mecklenburg County.
So I want to, really what I'm asking for is to make sure that as that goes forward, that there will be more community input on the future regional fare structure.
Yes, that's envisioned as part of the implementation process, Commissioner. Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm listening to all of the concerns in my district, because I have a cluster of problems in transportation in District 1. So thank you for that, and my vote is yes.
Troy Selberg,
Yes.
Lynn Shu,
Yes.
Jennifer Stepp,
Yes.
Amelia Stinson Wesley,
Yes.
David Williams,
No.
Jonathan Williams,
Yes.
Richard Wise,
No.
Jarvis Woodburn,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that did pass.
Thank you. The motion passes. Special thanks to Michelle Nance, Jason Wager for their long hours on working on this project, and of course, all the transportation transit agencies and organizations involved with that. And as has been stated just a little bit ago, that there's more to come, more local input, and more work to be done as this thing moves forward. So thank you very much. That was we cleared that. So we'll go to item 5, the Regional Dialogue Series Focus Group. This board will receive an update on the Fall 2021 Regional Dialogue Series, be asked to provide input on a few items. We'll receive this as information and to provide feedback. Emily Parker will start the presentation. Ms. Parker.
Thank you, Chairman Compton, and good evening, everybody. It's good to be with you, even in a virtual sense. Let's, for the sake of time, let's kind of go to the next slide, Kelly, please. I know you guys heard just a brief amount about the Regional Dialogue Series, I think, at your August meeting. So tonight, I'll just provide a little bit of an update and remind you of the why we're doing this work, and a little bit about process, but then we'd like to spend the bulk of our time with you in small groups, in small Zoom breakout rooms, to ask you a few questions and gather input. But as far as kind of stepping back and thinking about why are we engaging in this process, you can see on your screen several reasons. One is to connect, and then in some cases reconnect with our regional partners and stakeholders, which we have a variety of, to see how everyone came through COVID, what people learned, et cetera, et cetera. We also want to understand just kind of what are the opportunities and the challenges that communities are facing, and also think about those questions and opportunities in a regional context. And then the input we gather in this process will be the groundwork, and will really inform 2 major plans that we have coming up in our future. One is the next Centralina 3-year strategic plan, which directly influences the work we do here and how we serve you and your communities. And the next plan, the other plan, is the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, or the CEDS, that's updated every 5 years. And that is kind of a more larger regional focus, but we can get more into that later. Next slide, Kelly, please. So dropping back even further, it's important to kind of think about why we're doing this. And instead of jumping straight to the nuts and bolts of the process, we should, take a moment to think about the key kind of framing questions that we're considering as we embark on this work. And you can see several of them there laid out on your screen, but my kind of favorite of these questions is the second bullet. So what do your partners and stakeholders tell us about the needs of today and of tomorrow? So this is part of the reason why we are here with you this evening and taking time on this board's agenda to hear from y'all. So next slide, please, Kelly. So to get a little bit more into the detail of the mechanics of the process, this is just kind of a visual overview of how we envision the next several months going. So really from September to December, this is a period of gathering input, gathering data. And that could be in the form of a survey, which I'll talk a tiny bit more about few minutes, and also focus groups. So really tonight at this meeting, we're kicking off our phase of engagement that's about focus groups, engaging boards, etc. Board engagement certainly is a part of this work. And then kind of all throughout October, November, December, here at Centralina, we'll be processing data, kind of sorting and sifting and making sense of themes that emerge from the work we're doing and what we're hearing. Then in December, we will share kind of the insights we've gathered from the data and input with the subcommittee. And then in January, we will come back to the Centralina Executive Board and also the Centralina Economic Development District Board and put forth potential priorities that should be carried forward in those two plans you can see on the far right of your screen. So next slide, please, Kelly. So here's where we are right this moment. The process update. So we launched the survey on September 27th. And I think at some point, Kelly, we were talking about you maybe putting the link to the survey in the chat, because it's really, really critical that we ask you guys to respond to the survey and that you share it with your elected colleagues and the staff that you work with. And I know that survey link and information about it will come out in the follow-up email that Kelly sends after this meeting. The subcommittee gathered and had a great meeting on October 1st, and you can see our wonderful subcommittee members there listed on the right side of the slide. And we're particularly happy to have Mayor Miles Atkins and Astrid Chirnos, who are members of the Centralina Economic Development District Board, join us on the subcommittee. So they're doing great work, very enthusiastic, and we're just so happy to work with them in this capacity. And then we are just about to roll out and launch kind of a large fall flurry, if you will, of different focus group meetings by sector, and then just kind of for all different kind of groups of folks. So you'll hear more about that. So that is about to happen this week. Next slide, Kelly. So I'll pause right there and ask if there are any questions before we switch into more of an engagement mode. Any questions from the board? And Kelly did put the survey links to both the English and Spanish versions of the survey in the chat, just by the way. Okay, hearing none. The next thing we'll do is go into a Zoom breakout room. So board members will be assigned randomly and sent into breakouts. There awaiting you will be Centralina staff members to facilitate a discussion. And they have the discussion questions. And so you'll go there, you'll have about 20 minutes or so to discuss 3 questions. And the sessions will be recorded, and that's just for our internal use only. So it's access our notes for the evening. And then you'll receive a couple of notices, broadcast notices, halfway mark, 5 minutes left, and then 1 minute left. So Kelly, I think we're ready.
So guys, the one issue that I know that we need state support is not one of the ones on the sheet. So, you know, they don't need to hold our hands to the fire so we don't have any way of revenue development. So.
Kelly, are we all back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we have time for maybe just one or two report out items from groups?
I think we got to move forward in the agenda, Emily.
Well, let's
just running a little behind schedule.
Sure, let's do that then. Thank you.
Thank you all for participating. This will be the first of several conversations that we'll have with the board over the next few months in this process. And if you'd like to learn more or get involved, please reach out to Emily, to Kelly or myself, and we'll be happy to have an offline conversation and get you more involved. Back to you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, everyone. That was great. I don't think we had quite enough time to finish out our questions here in the room I was in, but great feedback, great information. We got about 5 minutes to go before we adjourn this thing. So I want to see if there are any comments from the Board of Delegates or Centralina staff. Any of Centralina Board of Delegates out there that would like to say something, ask a question? Now's your time. I'm giving you the floor, or Centralina staff. Hearing none, comments from our executive director.
No, I just want to thank the board for endorsing the Connect Beyond plan this evening. It's a very important milestone for our organization. And I just wanted to thank Michelle and Jason, especially for their incredible hard work and long hours over the last 18 months to create the vision and to work so effectively with our partners.
Thank you, Geraldine Gardner, executive director. Appreciate your leadership here at Centralina, and the staff that you have do a great job and a lot of hard work. I'll do my comments before we adjourn. The Centralina Regional Resilience Collaborative Project, funded by the U.S. Economic Development Association Disaster Relief Grant, held a pre-disaster recovery planning workshop with the 9 county emergency management leaders yesterday on October the 12th. The next virtual workshop for the project will be held on Tuesday, November the 16th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll focus on emergency management leads along with local and elected officials, nonprofits, businesses, and stakeholders working together to build upon the Centralina Local Leader Disaster Recovery Coordination Guide. The November 16th workshop will include the launch of a newly developed interactive GIS equity recovery planning mapping tool, which will assist our 9 counties with the next steps for developing long-term, equitable, and resilient recovery plans as part of the Regional Resilience Collaborative Project. Wow. Please know all you invited to attend, as we all are part of the recovery for our region, counties, communities. Please let Geraldine know if you're interested in attending. Wow, that's a big deal. That's good. There are the 2022 Aviation Academy. I want to speak on that real quick. I did this a couple years ago. One of the best things I've ever done. The purpose of it is to better understand the Charlotte Douglas International Airport and its contributions to the community. As the biggest economic driver in the region, sessions offer behind-the-scenes access. I mean, you really go behind the scenes. Air traffic control tower, you go everywhere that most people don't go. I mean, it's really cool. The application period is now open. It's a series of 7 classes to be held in January and February of 2022. Applications are due Friday, November the 12th. Contact Emily Parker here at Centralina. You heard her a little while ago on the other agenda item. Contact Emily with questions, or if you're interested in participating. And I wholeheartedly agree that is the best thing ever. You need to put your application in because you will thoroughly enjoy it and learn a lot. And I'll say this, it is a big economic development driver. It's part of Mooresville and the South Alton area's tremendous growth for the last census is because of that airport. We wouldn't be what we are. This region wouldn't be what we are if we went to that airport. We all need to learn about it and see how it can help us. It's a big employment place. It just does everything for us, and we'd be in bad shape if that airport wasn't there. So please put the application in for that and call Emily Parker, and please get it to her. Election well wishes. This is kind of the sad part and the glad part, I guess. We have several local communities holding elections this November. Good luck to all who are running for re-election. And then any thanks. Anybody that is that are retiring from your elected position at the end of this calendar year. If there's anyone out there not running for re-election, please let us know who you are. Anyone out there? Any whose term of your community's council or board is ending in 2021, you're not seeking re-election, please let us know.
I'm not.
Oh.
I've enjoyed the time though. It's been a long time.
That's right. You told me you were finally retiring for good. Yeah, you did tell me that at the last meeting in the parking lot.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
You've done a lot. You've been part of this for a long time. You've been a former chair, and I've learned a lot from you as your vice chair. And I really do. We're going to miss you. We really will.
Well, I'm going to miss the group. I really am, because I mean, I've come to make a lot of friends over the years, more than just being a member of the group. I think it's become more of a family, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to miss everybody.
You're exactly right. It's not just being elected officials working together. It's a friendship. You and I became friends because of this. I didn't know you until I started serving with you here at Centralina, and you just become a great guy and a good person to talk to and get information from. So Bill, I really do thank you. It was nice serving as your vice chair and serving with you these years at Centralina.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for your service, Mayor. I appreciate it very much.
Stay in touch, sir. Please stay in touch. Thank you, Bill. I also want to thank our delegates and alternates for representing your communities on your board of delegates this year. We hope to see you back in 2022. We'll miss Bill Feather. We hope to see you back in 2022. We've reached the end of our agenda. With no further business to come to the board, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kelly Weston, for keeping us all organized.